A sugar pill with zero active ingredients can shrink tumors, reverse Parkinson's tremors, and heal stomach ulcers, confirmed by endoscopy. The same pill. The same nothing inside it. Your body did the work, because something upstream told it to. And the mechanism behind this is so well documented, so consistent, that it raises a question most people never sit with long enough. If belief can trigger healing when the medicine is fake, what exactly is running the show when the medicine is real? In 1996, a surgeon named Bruce Moseley ran a trial on patients with severe knee arthritis. One group got standard arthroscopic surgery, the other group got 3 small incisions in their skin, and nothing else. Moseley splashed saline water around to simulate the sounds of surgery. He talked to his team as if performing the real procedure. The patients were under light sedation. They saw nothing. And when both groups were evaluated 2 years later, the sham surgery patients reported the same improvement in pain and function as the real surgery patients. Same recovery, same outcomes. The only difference was that one group had their knee physically operated on, and the other group just believed they did. This wasn't a fringe experiment buried in a minor journal. It was published in the New England Journal of Medicine, and the results forced an uncomfortable reckoning in orthopedic medicine, because hundreds of thousands of these surgeries were being performed every year. The healing was real. The mechanism behind it had almost nothing to do with the scalpel. So what's actually happening inside the body when a placebo works? The short answer is the same thing that happens when a real drug works. Brain imaging studies show that when a patient takes a placebo they believe is a painkiller, their brain releases endogenous opioids, the body's own version of morphine. Measurable, dose-dependent, reversible with naloxone, the same drug that blocks actual opioids. Your brain manufactures the drug. The pill just gives it permission. And the depth of this goes further than pain. Parkinson's patients given placebos they believed were real medication showed increased dopamine release in the striatum. Their tremors reduced, their motor function improved. The brain produced the exact neurotransmitter the disease was depleting, because the patient expected it to. Expectation functioned as a chemical instruction. Irritable bowel syndrome trials have shown placebo response rates as high as 40%. Placebo antidepressants perform so close to real antidepressants in clinical trials that the gap has been one of the most debated topics in psychiatry for 2 decades. The body responds to what it anticipates will happen. The anticipation itself is a physiological event. But here's where this gets strange enough to sit with. In 2010, Ted Kaptchuk at Harvard ran a trial where patients with IBS were given placebos openly. The bottle said placebo. The doctor told them directly, "These pills contain no active ingredient." The patients took them anyway, twice a day. And they got significantly better. More symptom relief than the group that received nothing at all. Even knowing the pill was fake, the ritual of taking it, the act of swallowing something on a schedule prescribed by a doctor inside a medical context, was enough to move the needle. This demolished the assumption that placebos only work through deception. The healing wasn't about being tricked. The ritual carried its own weight, the white coat, the examination room, the act of being cared for in a structured way. Each of those elements sends a signal to the body. Help is here. And the body responds to that signal with real, measurable biological changes. Which means the placebo effect has never been about pills. It's about context. It's about what the body interprets as a credible cue for safety and repair. Think about what that implies for a moment. Every medical intervention you've ever received carried 2 active ingredients: the chemical compound and the story wrapped around it. The confidence of the doctor, the reputation of the hospital, the color of the pill, and yes, pill color matters. Red placebos work better as stimulants. Blue ones work better as sedatives. 2 capsules outperform 1. A branded pill outperforms a generic, even when the contents are identical. The packaging is part of the medicine. Fabrizio Benedetti, one of the leading researchers in this field, demonstrated that painkillers administered secretly through an IV, without the patient knowing they were receiving anything, are significantly less effective than the same drug given openly by a nurse who says, "This will help with your pain." Same drug, same dose, same bloodstream. The difference was awareness. The difference was expectation shaping how the body processed the chemical. This is where the conversation shifts from medicine to something broader. Because if the body's healing response can be amplified or diminished by what a person believes is happening, then belief functions as a biological variable, a real one. measurable in brain scans, blood work, and clinical outcomes. And the implications cut in both directions. The nocebo effect, placebo's dark mirror, shows that negative expectations produce negative outcomes with the same reliability. Patients warned about side effects experience those side effects at dramatically higher rates, even when taking sugar pills. In one case, a man who believed he had swallowed an entire bottle of antidepressants was rushed to the emergency room with dangerously low blood pressure and a racing heart. He was in a clinical trial. The pills were placebos. Every pill was inert. His body was shutting down because of a story he stabilized within 15 minutes of being told the truth. The speed of that reversal is worth pausing on. His physiology shifted from crisis to baseline in the time it takes to eat lunch. The only thing that changed was information. A sentence, a few words, rearranging what his body believed was true, and his entire system recalibrated around the new assumption. This raises a question that medicine has been careful about answering. Where does the boundary sit between a treatment and a belief about a treatment? If the same pill works better when it costs more, when the doctor seems more confident, when the brand name is familiar, then what percentage of healing is chemistry and what percentage is narrative? The honest answer is that the two can't be cleanly separated. They operate on the same substrate. Your body doesn't distinguish between a molecule it received from a pharmacy and a molecule it manufactured because it expected that molecule to arrive. The endorphin is the same endorphin. The dopamine is the same dopamine. The source is different, the effect is identical. Critics raise a fair point here. Placebos have limits. They can modulate pain, inflammation, motor function, and immune markers, but they can't shrink a tumor through belief alone or regrow a severed limb. The effect operates within biological constraints. Expectation can amplify or suppress existing physiological processes. It can't override hardware. A placebo won't set a broken bone. That distinction matters because overstating the effect is just as dishonest as ignoring it. The power is real. The boundaries are also real. But within those boundaries, the territory is vast. Surgical placebos, open-label placebos, dose-dependent placebo responses that scale with how much intervention the patient perceives. Conditioned immune responses, where the body learns to suppress immune function in response to a flavored drink, long after the immunosuppressant drug has been removed from the drink. Ada and Cohen demonstrated that in rats in the 1970s. The immune system learned to respond to a taste. The body encoded a flavor as a pharmaceutical instruction and executed it faithfully. What all of this points toward is a model of the body that most people carry around without realizing it needs updating. The old model, the body is a machine. You put chemicals in, you get effects out. The updated model, the body is a prediction engine. It continuously forecasts what's about to happen and pre-adjusts its chemistry to match. When you hand it a pill and a story that says relief is coming, it starts manufacturing relief before the pill dissolves. When you hand it a diagnosis and a story that says this will get worse, it starts building the infrastructure for worse. Your assumptions are prescriptions. They're being filled in real time by a pharmacy you never knew you were running. Every expectation you carry about your health, your energy, your resilience, your capacity to heal is landing somewhere in your biology. The placebo research just made that process visible under controlled conditions. The question worth carrying out of this is simple. If a sugar pill can trigger your body's healing response because of the story wrapped around it, what stories are you currently swallowing about yourself, about what's possible, about what you deserve? And what are they prescribing? Your body is already filling those prescriptions. It has been for years.